Welcome to the Smoking Word. Welcome to the...
What's up, everybody? Your boys are back and always brought to you by CasaTheRock.com. If you want to support the show, go to CasaTheRock.com. We got t-shirts, slides, all types of shit, pins. We got his and hers, everything. Just support the show. Go cop some merch. The holidays are coming. Time to waste some of that hard-earned cash. So CasaTheRock.com. That's the spot. Always shout out to my Patreon family for keeping the show going. For everybody out there that doesn't know, this thing isn't free, but we love keeping our ears to the streets and touching base with everybody. So we like making this happen. And without the Patreon family, we couldn't have this fucking fly background and all the extra content that you get to see some of it. But if you're a patron, you get to get all of it. We're dropping a lot of footage, and go to our YouTube channel. Also, we're dropping a lot of stuff that basically our Patreon family lets slip through the fingers and give to the civilians. So, but big shout out to our Patreon family. And if you want to join our Patreon family, invest in the Smokin Word podcast. Meaning, if you like what you hear and you want to keep it going and you want to fucking support the show, go to patreon.com/the Smokin Word. You'll see how it works. There's 3 tiers, 2, 3, 4 tiers, whatever it is. All exclusive footage. No dog barking like you hear in the background, but exclusive footage and a bunch of other shit. When I go on the road, I take the camera with me and I make sure you get stuff that only you guys get. But patreon.com/the Smokin Word. That's how you do it. Make sure you follow me at Hoya Rock 357 on Instagram. And remember, the Smokin Word podcast is also on Instagram. So make sure to add us. You got any questions? Any of you new bands out there, you want to send some music, don't send it to me. Send it to the Smokin Word podcast Instagram, all right? Send it there. Any questions you got, anything you want to shout out, send it there. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Also, make sure to go to YouTube and start following Smokin Word TV. All the podcasts get dropped there, and also we're dropping some exclusive shit. Go check it out. We're going to be dropping a lot more. We have a lot of plans for next year. Power moves is all I got to say. We're doing 2.0 everything. So Smokin Word TV, look out for it. A lot of content dropping. Patreon, I love you. Everybody, and thanks everybody who came out to these shows. Punk Rock Bowling. Shout out to California for everybody who showed up. Yeah, we don't got nothing booked for a while. We don't know what's going to be the next move, but there's a lot more podcasts about to drop and a lot more content dropping for Patreon and Smokin Word TV. So everybody, get down with the get down. And today, my guest, an old friend, and actually a new band. Well, yeah, I guess that you could call them a new band, but one of my favorite new rock and roll / oi, whatever you want to call them, they're dope. Yo, today's guest, my boy Scott Roberts from TheTake. Let's set this shit off. I was just listening to the fucking song before I was saying, I don't know what the fuck I was saying, but when you record, I know that. What's up with you, dude?
I can't see.
Good. You good? You
now.
good?
I can't see. It's like blurry. You know, I just need glasses like you got.
Listen. Yeah, put your shits on. You know why?
Where's my
I'm
glasses?
gonna tell you why.
I don't want somebody to see me with the glasses on.
Listen, no, you're gonna fucking put them on. And I'll tell you
why. Like a nerd.
Listen, I'm gonna fucking tell you why you're gonna put your shits on. I'm popping my cherries. This is the first time I put mine on. I always got because I got bad. Listen, I got bad eyes, right? So obviously I need them to read more now, and I'm like. I be like trying to,
once you get past that age,
I start clicking shit, and I'm like, I can't see. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm putting these shits on.
Yeah, I
So
can't
this
do
is the
that.
first one. So I'm like, exactly.
You look Asian to me right now.
That's the exactly. So shout out to Warren,
Can't see
Royce,
nothing.
Narc,
Yeah,
Pokey.
I just tried to get like work for Warren yesterday actually, but he was busy.
Good. He makes a good chow fun. He's a great. Oh, I didn't. Oh, you meant. No, I know I'm gonna see him. Shout out to Warren. Shout out to Rick the Straps too, by the way, and Kaya Rick the By
And Royce,
of course. Those are my chinos. You know what's up.
yeah,
Like there's
love those guys.
yeah, and what's up with you?
Not that much. I just work again, which is great.
Yeah, you back.
Working like crazy again.
What I was gonna
way
say,
too much.
What I was gonna say, that shit, the pandemic fucked with your work. But did you have a job that it fucked with? Because I know you do I don't know, so much the building, the scaffoldings, and the staging, and I know you do hang from shit, and I know you do some crazy shit.
Yeah, right. I do rigging for concerts.
That's the word, rigging. You're a rigger. I forgot. Yeah,
right.
The rigger.
Yeah, with an R.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Watch it, rigger. Yeah, exactly. Easy. Yeah, watch it. You get me canceled before I get put on.
Yeah. That's what I do, at concerts and all that. So yeah, like for a year and a half, I did barely anything. But now it's like it's like back in New York like crazy.
Now let me ask you: you were doing the rigging. Did you do it as a kid, like young, or like you got into that later? Like, because I know a bunch of the fellas I know got into it, but like kind of later. And some of them stuck with it and made do good
I started in 93 actually, because like my guitar tech I had back then was a good friend of mine, and coming home from like a gig or a tour, I'm like, well, we're gonna be home for a while, I got to get a new job, and he's like, come work with me, and he was a stagehand rigger, and that's how I got into it. But there was, I worked it for a few years, and I also laid carpet back then too, and did like the Spud Monsters. That's like my 3 sources of income at that time.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure being a musician, people think you're on stage, you're making all this money, but that just ain't how it is. So that's what I did. I do that stuff to make. I did make some money playing music, but not enough to like.
Yeah, of course. The only reason we made it happen early is because we had no responsibilities. The younger guys, like as far as me and Freddie, and obviously the other guys that had a little bit more, they ended up dropping off at certain points because there was no money.
Right.
We were like, they couldn't take a hit. Like
yeah, for sure.
It's fucking
all
tough.
about it.
And
it
fucking.
Is tough.
But the rigging shit. All right, now out of the rigging shit, so you see, I know a lot of riggers. I know you know a lot of you riggers. My riggers. but all right, now does that include a scaffolding and hanging off all that high shit? Is that part of your job, or is that like a certain sector of your job? Because I know a couple dudes that do that also.
Yeah. I did that a lot.
I know you did that too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot when I was younger. I mean, now I'm kind of a boss most of the time. I'm an older. I've been doing it for quite a while.
A senior, a senior, an advance. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of the good word so we gotta call ourselves old. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid we're old bastards. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really, I got, bad knees and stuff. I can't really climb anymore, but I still go up and pull points at like Barclays Center and Prudential Center and stuff.
That just scares the shit out of me. I see Steak Man running on scaffolding. I see, Frankie fucking Devil Force Sana. He's in fucking Boston Garden and all that shit. And I know you were doing that. I'm like, yo, you motherfuckers are crazy. But it's good work. If you
well, it's like, good money.
Yeah, it's good money. And I know it's hard work, but I know it's cool because
it's hard work.
To be around the music without being in the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, most of the gigs that we work at this kind of level is something I have no interest in whatsoever. It's like pop music or whatever. I'm sometimes Black Sabbath will show up or something.
Man, hold on, but that's fucking. You kidding me? Yeah. That's still special. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not very often. Usually it's something I have, Katy Perry or something that I don't care about at all. Yeah. And it's just a job, it's just money.
Yeah.
whatever.
And
But
that,
still, it's a job though. The good thing about it though is it's a part-time job that you can make a lot of money at, and you can do music
flexible.
because it's a part-time job. You're not tied down to, you only got 2 weeks off of work, right? So
Yeah.
it's great for a musician. And Kenny from Typo Negative does rigging too, you know.
Oh, get out of here. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I know a lot. I'm not surprised.
I just
you know,
had him
but
working for me yesterday.
There you go. There you go. You see? That's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope. And I know, like, yeah. And every time I always hear like different dudes when we were, on the road. Oh shit, what's up? I was working with this dude and that dude, and
Yeah.
everybody gets to meet up once in a while. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope.
I've gotten like Mitt's work
Mets,
and,
yep.
Joe, what's Joe's last name?
Yeah, yeah. Fucking I'm AF Joe. Yeah.
Joe, yeah.
Yeah. He did all that shit. Oh, you riggers, my riggers. and now, and I know you're a writer. I don't know officially that you write everything for the take, but I know you're a big writer.
Yeah.
Now that you had to go back to work, did that fuck with your writing, or it didn't matter? Were you always a writer, like when doing the 9 to 5 and finding the time to write?
Yeah,
or
that's kind of always been,
yeah,
what it is for me. And it's always taken me a long time to write records, and a couple years, But honestly, like, I had so much free time, like we all did during the pandemic, and I had zero like drive to do anything. You know what I mean? That just killed my whole thing.
Yeah.
I really felt like it was over.
Yeah.
And
You
I was
come
a
on,
lazy
you throwing
sack
that?
of shit.
Yeah. You just
A
throwing the
lazy sack of
towel
shit.
because you're just lazy.
I took up golf.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, don't start with that shit. You better hit Freddie up. Freddie, forget it.
Freddie golf?
What? My
Oh,
God, that
shit.
motherfucker sees a hole. Forget it.
Word.
Back in the day, I see a hole. I used to want to do something else. This guy wants to throw fucking balls in it now. For miles away. Before I thought the idea was trying to get in the hole as close as possible. Now it's to try to get it in from as far as possible.
That's great. I got to go golfing. Freddie.
Yeah,
Is he good?
yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I just started last year.
I just wanted 4. I know but you want to know what? I think he kind of started same thing. Like dude, you might have to be like a hook up, because I know he's like newer to the game.
Yeah, I am. I've been doing it for a year now. Really, I'm totally addicted. I love it.
It's
better. Hard. It's the hardest game ever.
Listen,
but it's annoying and amazing at the same time. I love it. I hate it.
It sounds like some people I know. Listen, I just put it like this. So right now we just did this a couple of shows in the Punk Rock Bowling and a couple Cali shows, right? And I posted a picture, and I never got hit so much about so apparently the hat Freddie had is some golfing brand. I learned whatever it's fucking
like Callaway
called.
Or something.
Exactly, Callaway. I was just about you see. And I got so many hits. Yo, he plays golf. Yo, I didn't know that. Yo, let's hit rounds. Yo, I'm like, oh shit. I go, fuck. I didn't know this.
I played golf today.
There you go.
Actually, I'm still sweaty from the golf.
There you go. 4.
But like I've been working so much that I haven't golfed in like a month and a half. I was terrible today.
And Warren too, like all those Slayer dudes. That's the best.
Warren golf?
Listen, all those metalheads were going for a while.
Really?
Yes. Listen,
I was totally out of this whole.
Listen, let me tell you, the metalheads might have the hardcore dudes and the skins on the golf, even though it should be more towards our side.
I sing to myself while I'm on the golf course. Skinheads on the golf course.
Yeah. You see, like you got the right hat for the thing, but these metalheads don't.
I got the polos,
But look at them, So over here in Florida,
I know.
And
Florida's all about golf.
Yeah, and I think in Fort Lauderdale, this dude Nico McBrain, Iron Maiden,
he lives there?
Got a restaurant. Yeah,
really?
he moved there.
Does Pete still live there?
I don't know.
I know Pete was living there.
I don't know. To be honest,
from sick of it all,
Yeah, he's up somewhere. There. I think it's Daytona, somewhere up there. I don't know how far. I
thought he was living Fort Lauderdale. Oh, maybe he's Daytona. I don't know.
Yeah, he's more north because Fort Lauderdale is more in my zone. But
my mother lives in Florida too, and is from Florida.
Yeah. No, I like it here, and it's like fucking. But he moved.
I don't like it. It's too hot.
Yeah,
I
but
can't take the
this is
heat,
what I
man.
tell people. This is what I tell people. If you're into snowboarding, right? You want to go
Me?
somewhere. No, I'm
No.
saying if you're into snowboarding, you want to go somewhere where obviously it's gonna be cold, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
gonna be snow. It's most likely
Colorado.
it's gonna be wet, because it just goes with it. Not that you want like being wet, but
Yeah.
it associates with what you want to
Right.
be in. In Florida, it's people, yeah, it's humid or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but you got a palm tree outside your house. You got a pool like there. You got the beach there. You don't want it to feel any other way. We used to feel like some of these summer days in the city, the Lower
No.
East Side,
Horrible.
used to feel like
Horrible.
Florida days, except we were in a squat, like just
Yeah.
smoldering.
Yeah, I
So-
know what you're saying.
But you're right. But still,
The other problem with me is you can't make any money in Florida.
well, maybe not for like what you do, but if
No.
you sell perico, you make a lot of money, man. That's
Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
not
I know
doing
you
that.
mean it's you have to be set up. Of course, that's one thing. It is
Yeah.
that's true. Like because
Yeah.
the what you make and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
You
There's
know.
it's like a right to work state. I'm a union guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
got
love,
three union cards.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down there, like.
yeah. I don't know how that shit works. I just know. I just know I like it here. I don't know anything about unions.
It's too hot. Too hot for me.
No,
My
but
mom's there. I go visit my mom sometimes, and I'm like, oh God, I can't stand how hot it is.
Listen. How about if they made Doc wet feet? Then that way you could kind of like
They
still
might.
like
They make everything. Now.
Listen, I saw the Croc Martens.
The Croc Martens, yeah.
Croc Martens. They bit my shit. That was my shit. Let me tell you, because I would rock Crocs on. Look it. So
With
I would
the
rock
shark tooth.
No. So I would have them like for shower shoes, right? And then
Yeah, I know.
motherfuckers would talk shit to me, and they'd be like, "Oh, in Germany, they'd be like,
Danny wore them on stage though.
listen, Danny, listen, I'll tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming championship over everybody, and I got proof. Motherfuckers, these Germans be like laughing, like, and I go, what? I go, I'm coming out with it. And they're like, because I was just talking shit. But I was like, they were like, no, you wouldn't look. I was just coming out of the shower. They were trying to shit on me. Listen, I was doing these open air festivals in them. I would take off the fucking Croc and fucking hold it in the crowd. There's a picture of me like this. Motherfucker. Yeah, you don't understand. Yeah, I was like, motherfucker. And they would tell me, no, like, what are you doing?
No.
I played myself.
Croc.
I played myself in Slovenia. It was like rainy. And I went with that shit. I ended up walking in sludge and these stupid things just to make a point. Yeah, I was trying to make a point. I played myself.
I mean, you can't look hard at a pair of Crocs.
Yeah. No, but they're so easy to just wear. On the road, you're like, you don't even.
I see kids now though with these Crocs with like things stuck all over them.
I hate it. Little doodads hanging.
Doodads all over the place and socks. White socks.
No.
Like,
they're like wearing it for fashion. Like I was wearing it because I'm like almost in a bum mode, on tour bum mode.
I know. I used to do that. I used to do the like Adidas flip flop thing.
Yeah, all that. Sometimes exactly.
Well, you gotta. People don't know that haven't done this. People that have know, but the showers are disgusting. You have to have something on your feet, or you're getting some kind of something. Oh,
you're getting some type of.
You gotta, foot
COVID for sure.
Yeah, I've taken showers in the most disgusting things. I can't believe it, like green, black, whatever.
That's like good, exactly. I tell people you don't understand the shit that we end up in. Like I go, people are like, yo, it's so cool. You're playing Paris. I'm like, yeah, but we're not playing the Eiffel Tower. We're playing some fucking shithole on the furthest point of Paris
with no hot water.
Yeah, definitely no hot water.
And I got a hose that I got to take a shower with.
They did. Yeah, I remember once they took us to a field and the motherfuckers opened up like the stalls where you clean the horses and shit. You're like, yo, motherfuckers. Like, yo, people don't know. I remember that, like, I think it's all gone. Our first and like one of maybe two buses we ever had in our existence in America. Like we may have had one twice.
Oh, with Doggy Dog.
Yeah, that one. Exactly. And you know it. Exactly. Even the bum down the street knows. Oh, yeah, he even knows our phony bus talk. But fucking, I remember the shit. We had a show at CB's. It might have actually been the first show or whatever. But I remember my boy, like, they were like, yo, you made it. Yo, you guys must be paid. And I remember I already knew then. I was like, yo, we owe money and we're splitting this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I already knew then. We knew
We're
then.
paying for it
Yeah. And we
out
didn't
of
have
our
nothing.
pockets.
We didn't have nothing, and I knew we were already losing. That's the crazy part.
I did a
But
couple of them in the States too.
yeah,
Only a couple.
yeah.
Maybe two. It might be two.
And again, the main reason why it was because again, Roadrunner. I mean, I'm grateful for it, but because they had the us doggy dog downset in the road crew, and it was us the road crew in one bus and doggy dog downset in the other.
Yeah.
So it was like.
I mean, people used to talk a lot of shit about Roadrunner, but they did make a lot of bands something.
I won't lie. I love Roadrunner. I fucking loved Road. We signed the shittiest deal to
hated
Human.
Me.
Oh, did they like we signed?
They hated my band.
Yeah, they hate. But you and Matt, I want to know the first show of that Downset Doggy Dog tour. I want to say was we played in Cleveland. I want to say, it was one of the first. It was either the Grog Shop. It might have been.
Yeah.
Grog Shop. And I remember that was actually one of the very first shows of that tour.
I had a T-shirt from that show for like 20 years.
Yeah, it was a big. Yeah, it was a big. It was a big thing. Even that flyer, I remember that specific show and shit was like
the Grog Shop.
A big deal. And fucking and over there, all right, Cleveland. You always Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm from.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
lived
what I'm
there since I moved in '98. I think.
Yeah.
Whatever, but yeah.
But born Cleveland. Because I was trying to remember. I don't remember the first time I met you, but I remember, I want to say the first time that I can remember, it was playing with Spud Monsters, and we played Akron, Ohio.
Really? Akron?
I'm almost 1,000%
definitely
positive, because you know why? Because I bugged out. Maybe too.
But yeah, I mean, I might have just showed up to a show in Akron.
Okay. No, you know why?
Yeah, I showed Canton, Ohio. You played a show.
Maybe that sounds like, because this is what happened.
Like next to each other.
Because
it was like a place like that. It was a country western kind of joint with a bull thingy.
Because you know what I remember? Right? What I remember was we were stuck out there because of we had van troubles, but we were out there for like in Akron. Obviously, we were doing that because the Canton sounds familiar and all that. We were in that
Akron,
area.
Canton's the same thing,
Yeah, we were in that area for like, it was during the Hold It Down era, because I remember Beto being with it, and we were literally posted up there for a couple of days, and I got food poisoning, and I had to play that show. But you know why? I could have swore you guys played. You're definitely somebody was there.
Well, I mean,
Fools is bad. No,
I mean, we played with you. No, we played with you definitely in Columbus when it was. Not before Beta, for sure. Matt was in the band, and that show that I'm thinking about in Columbus, Canton, was with Maddie too.
That was definitely the first one.
I think it was right when the second record came out.
Yep, the demonstration, exactly. Because what I'm talking about, that era, what I'm talking about, Beto, that was
that era. I was here.
Oh, okay, so that's how you might have then.
I came down to the studio while you were recording that shit.
Yeah, because well, that was, man. All right, now let me ask you. Foos had another band, the Foos band, right?
Yeah, he had a Run Devil Run.
Run Devil, was that back then in that time frame? Did he have one of those versions of those bands?
Well, he started that pretty much right after we quit. We gave up Spud Monsters. So
the only reason why I remember him specifically, because I was like, oh shit, I still associated Spud Monsters, because I was like, oh shit, they're playing. That's dope, because I thought it was a show like just us, playing with like openers. I was like, oh shit, that's dope. They're playing, blah, blah, blah. And I got food poisoning. And I always remember this. The worst experience of my life on stage.
Yeah,
the show went on.
Fucked up things.
And the show went on. I gotta tell you, everybody, it was like
it ain't fun.
But no, but that's crazy. So, and that was it's funny. I had Derek Sepultura fucking on, and again another Ohio, and
Cleveland.
Cleveland, and Ohio in general has fucking a lot of history in this hardcore punk and metal shit. It's crazy.
Absolutely, I mean, Cleveland, like back in the late '80s, whatever, early '90s for sure, had a massive scene. And like we were the Spud Monsters. We were playing the like 1,200 people in Cleveland.
Yeah.
When AF's playing at CBGB's.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if anybody doesn't know CBGB's, which probably a lot of people don't now, maybe that was 300 people in there.
Yeah. Whatever it was. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, crammed in there. I mean, there was a really good scene here or there.
Yeah.
I don't live there anymore, but for a long while.
Yeah. Every time my era of a band, which was later, I didn't start going to shows till 88. You know, that's later. But there was always Cleveland was a spot.
I'm kind of around the same. I'm around the same.
And then
87, I would say I started going to.
Yeah. Me was summer
like
88. Summer 88,
Yeah.
you know, and then and there was always
And
Pennsylvania.
I felt at the time that I was a latecomer, like I missed everything.
Yeah. You know what? I never even thought about it. I realized that I was lucky, like in the early 90s. I said, yo,
Yeah.
I was good. The average show for me was like Breakdown, Maximum Penalty, Super Touch, and I'm like now would be an all-star, you know what I mean? Fucking show.
And that was
like
just normal everyday.
like
show.
you would walk in,
Yeah.
you know, oh, it's no for an answer. Oh, I'll come back in. You know, I literally the craziest bands that not, you know, like, you know, it was insane. And I'm glad because I would walk in for every band to at least check it out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, there was shows that I walked. Yeah, there was shows
that was kind of the time too, though. I mean, all those bands came to Cleveland too.
Yeah.
It seemed like, you know, 3-4 times a week there was something you had to go see.
And Spud Monsters early on. So you came in early, but you weren't in the original demo, right? You came like and after a couple demos in, right?
Yeah, I came in 1989 when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
But they kind of started in 86, at least talking about it or doing something. But 87 is when they started actually really doing stuff. And then 2 years later I'm in. And when the band actually broke up, I think I'm the one that was in the band the longest. Over the whole period of time, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with me with Madball. Same shit. Like, you know, become the old, you know, the young guy, the youngest one.
Yeah,
one of the
I know. I remember when you weren't in the band.
Yeah,
and Roger was playing bass.
Yeah, and then early on, because early on was like, so I remember always Spud Monsters having, you know, crossover always, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, we always called ourselves crossover in the old days because that was a term that was going on, and that's what we were. We were totally punk, hardcore, metal, all mixed in there. You know, it was kind of like kind of like a Murphy's Law type of deal in the beginning. That was more about like having fun, kind of party band, or whatever. But later on, it got more serious, and then it seemed like everybody just dropped that whole crossover term and said hardcore, and we're like, all right, we're on with that.
Exactly. Yeah. We're hardcore.
But I still think kind of like most bands that say they're hardcore are really crossover. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, to me, it's like, no, you know, to me, it's, you know, you're a hardcore band that does a crossover style. To me, you know, that's how I see it now. Like, if you're telling me about Marauder, they're a fucking metal band. They're a hardcore band. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're a hardcore band where, in the sense of, they didn't the sonically the traditional sound. They came up the same way. Nothing like a metal band
with a hardcore attitude, right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what makes them a hardcore band, as far as the way they came up, how it just happens sonically. They're not that, because I know there's guys that sound like Minor Threat, but they wouldn't step into a place like CB's because it was too dirty, or it wasn't this, or they couldn't have a sound check. There was a lot of,
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know those guys.
But, you know, there's guys that, you know,
but to me,
there's guys from that era that don't want people moshing at their shows anymore, and that's this and that. They have new versions of their band. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot of suspect shit that happens.
I never heard of that.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
To me, hardcore means hardcore punk. Hardcore was just short for hardcore punk to me. That's what it meant. But again, somewhere along the line that changed.
Yeah. For me, it was different too, because you told Roger what it meant, and it probably meant more towards that. For me, I wanted no part of the punk part. To me, hardcore was you
were a punk.
I had never
You
no
a
part. Listen,
skinhead. Get out
that's
of here.
right. You
And
said it,
you
and
liked
always
fucking
will
Oi.
be. And you
You
said
liked Oi.
exactly.
You still
No.
like
I didn't
Oi.
like Oi. I love Oi,
And that's
not
punk.
punk. No. It's Oi and punk are two different things.
No.
They're very close. No. I was
This
Oi
is
was
punk.
how we went. No punk rock. Shout out to you Mohawk motherfuckers out there, but we never rocked that way.
Oh,
You
come
know?
on. You
But, hey,
can't tell me you don't love Discharge and the Exploited.
no, but Discharge is not. Discharge is a hardcore band. That's like
Hardcore band. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. That's a hardcore band.
No, okay, no, but Discharge was not a punk band because Discharge was Discharge, and that's where it became this, and then it became our world, and then the difference between that world. Exploited is the closest that's punk that I would fuck with. That's where it starts and ends. GBH. That's it.
GBH, yeah.
GBH,
I mean, well,
Discharge. Discharge is always, and this, I've always, even, and I can speak for not all of us, but when we came up as kids, we were more towards, it was oi, hardcore, and even metal. And the punk rock was it was more towards the older guys.
What do you call Fear?
I don't listen to them, so I don't know.
You don't love Fear?
Absolutely not. I couldn't tell you one song.
Oh man.
Listen,
Fear's like their greatest band ever, bro.
You know what? There's a lot of bands that people traditionally love in this scene of ours that I don't like.
Love Fear.
Like, I'm not a Bad Brains guy either.
I love Bad Brains.
Exactly. And everybody else does, but me and maybe two other people.
How do you not love Bad Brains? Well, whatever, you know.
I like a couple songs that I wouldn't go say I love them.
You know, I didn't, you know, when I first started playing with the Cro-Mags and hanging out with John all the time, like, he would just be all about Bad Brains, Bad Brains. And at that point, oh yeah, it still is. And at that point, I liked the Bad Brains,
and then
but I love the Cro-Mags stuff. And for me, I heard the Cro-Mags before I heard Bad Brains, right? And I was like, Cro-Mags all the way, you know. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, Cro-Mags suck. Bad Brains, Bad Brains. You know.
Don't get me wrong. Like, Bad Brains deserves their spot. The innovators, and there's a couple songs that I love, and I get it. But I like what Cro-Mags did. I like their version of the Bad Brains, which ended up being the Cro-Mags. I like that was my shit.
They put Bad Brains and Motorhead together, right?
Yeah. I think,
and that's what a perfect combination.
And I also think, you know, they have like, you know, you got, you know, I don't know if they would give them props, but there's so much like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden in that shit. And
that's probably the Paris thing, right?
Yeah, you know, I don't know if they do. I hear Judas Priest all day in that, you know, and that's what, you know, you know, I wouldn't know why that would be a diss.
Well, I was, you know,
those are OGs.
I was into that stuff when I was younger too, the Judas Priest and Iron Maiden.
Yeah, and that's all that. That's anything Madball in the early records where you hear just that palm muting. We were calling it the Judas Priest part because that's what would rock it, and that would also be our Cro-Mag. You know, our version of that type of vibe. You know, just like you know, that to me that was that. You know, you know, that old
totally
fucking feel and shit. And fucking before first music you into, because I know you were into hip hop, you were into metal, and I obviously Spud Monster had, you know, was crossover and had a little flavor too. You know, you guys, like every band that last ends up morphing and fucking, you could tell they grow and different influences.
Except for AC/DC.
Well, except them. Except them. And fucking Oasis. Right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I only know one record of it.
But yeah, I guess same shit. But
I don't know.
What did you start with? First thing that you that you've listened to, like that you were like really into as a kid, even as a kid, like you're like, yeah, I like this. This is what I was rocking at whatever age. Because I got into music at 10.
I got into music really young. Because my parents were into music, right? So the first time I was on stage singing, I was 2 years old.
Oh, crazy. You beat Freddie
in church.
Yeah. So they had you, and you.
My mom would.
What kind of what? Christian, Jehovah Witness, Satan. What church of what?
Baptist.
Church of
like country Baptist crap. You know?
Oh,
Which, you know, I'm not religious anymore, but whatever. When I was when I was a kid, my mom would play the Hammond organ,
Dope.
and me and my father would sing on stage.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, but really, the music that I got into first was like old school rock and roll, 50s,
Yeah.
Fast Domino, Elvis, all that stuff.
Oh, that's
And then
dope.
I heard the Beatles and the Stones. When I heard the Stones, that was it. That was my shit. I
Yeah.
love the Stones. I still love the Stones. And after the Stones, I'd say then I heard probably like Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, moved that way for a little
Yep.
while.
And
I
then
didn't get punk at all at that point.
uh-huh.
You know, this is probably the late 70s, early 80s. I didn't get the punk thing because I was just like, what's with the weird safety pins and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I didn't understand that. But then when I heard Suicidal Tendencies' first record, I don't know whatever time in the 80s that was, but
Yeah.
that just blew me away and totally changed my life. I went from being a metal kid for a minute there to whoop,
What was
going
it?
backwards.
The sound first, or the pictures and this? Obviously
It was the sound for sure.
You know, because
The sound and like it was just so like incredible, like the shit they were talking about. I saw your mommy and your mommy's dead. That was amazing. Like the groove in that was in there, the energy that was in there. That first record too, Mike had that like craziness about his voice.
yeah,
Like the intro to the record where he's going, wah, wah, wah. I'm
He's
like,
crazy.
this is insane, you know.
He's really
Later
a
on, he
nut
seemed
too.
to like mellow out, but he didn't in actual life. He definitely did not mellow out. But I mean, on records, he seemed to mellow out. But
Yeah,
that
Mike,
record
he's a nut.
just still, I still listen to it all the time. I still one of my favorite records. But that changed my life. You know, from there I went backwards and discovered, you know, all the Bad Brains, whatever, Black Flag, whatever, all that stuff, and became a hardcore kid because of that record. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. That's right. That's usually what happens.
And I told Mike Muir that once when I was fanboying him.
Yeah,
and he's like,
shout out to Mike. That's my man.
Yeah, I love Mike. Mike gave me the most incredible talking to one time, which we could talk about that if you want. But I told Mike about this, that how much this record meant to me and how it changed my life. And he goes, it's a moment of time. Came out now. Nobody care.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
You know, that's how it is. Like when we have a show, motherfuckers yelling, set it off. I look in the crowd, the kids like 16 with like red cheeks, chubby. My motherfucker, you just came out of your mother's box. You yelling for set it off.
It's a hell of a motherfucking record, though.
You know, but still, that's funny.
I mean, that's a perfect record right there.
And let me ask yourself, you started a suicide and that made you dig in. That's what made you bite the bug, because there's always that bug that gets you that where totally it separates you. You know what I mean?
Totally got me. And I got into like, AF and Chrome Suckers, Chrome Mags, all that stuff. That's at the time where the crossover thing was happening. Was the thing, I was totally into that. Whoa, my shit just fell.
Yeah, and your first being in a band, was that during that era, during the hardcore shit, the punk shit, or before that? That was
no. My first band was like a crossover band. It was just a joke band, whatever, playing. Then I got in another band shortly after that, and that was still like maybe a little more punk band. And then I got into Spud Monsters shortly after that. You know what I mean? Which was totally a crossover band.
Yeah.
And
And so how was that? Because you got to tour Europe pretty early, right? With the Biohazard shit, was that early 90s, right?
Yeah, 93.
Yeah,
our first tour ever was opening for Biohazard in 93. Like we our bass player we had in the band left the band and joined this totally metal band. I mean, straight up metal as shit, kind of band, And they got signed to this German metal label called Massacre, right? And they asked him, is there any other bands from Cleveland that, we should sign or anything? And he's like, yeah, this Spud Monsters is the biggest band in Cleveland. You should sign them. So we got signed because of him. Thanks, Joe. And something happened. I think some band was supposed to play something and it fell through, or some kind of thing where the promoter owed the label a favor. The promoter was Carlos Fleischman from Blue Star Promotions at that time, which was a big promoter in Germany. And he somehow owed the label a favor over something. And so the favor was putting us on the Biohazard tour. Right. And this is 93.
And that's a good favor, especially at that time.
Yeah.
It's a nice favor right there.
93 was right when they were blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
This is Urban Discipline, right when Urban Discipline dropped. Blew up during that tour. We had a day off, but they played Dynamo for the first time and like just blew wide open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see, you know. They were really incredible, man. You know?
Yeah. That for like, us, yeah, for us, for like this is the thing with Biohazard. That was like us as a band, you know, they were the first guy. Obviously, we already were in the AF camp, but we got to be while Biohazard was blowing up. You know, we got to enjoy being there with them because they were always invited. So we got to be on stage at these bigger places for the first time with them.
Right.
You know,
I know they brought a lot of guys along with them. A lot of bands, local.
You know, a lot of people talk shit about them. Nods, whatever. A lot of people hate it at moments because they were when you know you're blowing up when people start hating.
Right.
But they used to be like they used to do it to us big time. They used to fucking love to try to pit us against Biohazard. And I'm like, do you understand? We're probably some of the bands that get along the best. You know, I'm like, even then they used to be like, how do you feel Biohazard claiming they're a hardcore band? And I go, they don't. They claim they're their own thing. And a lot of those dudes are hardcore dudes. And they're hardcore guys, but they're their own thing. And I know them.
They've never claimed to be New York hardcore.
I know
they were always their Brooklyn thing.
And this is the fact. This is a fact. The Madball's first biggest show in New York was the opening for them at their Roseland show. That was their first big show for a lot of New York bands. Right. And then again,
and they brought everybody along. Sheer Terror. Listen, everybody you can think of.
And people try to shit on them for that too. People were like, "Oh, they're doing that for cred." And I said, "Listen, I don't give a fuck what they're doing it for. They did it when they didn't have to.
They're fans. They're fans of all those bands.
And at that time, they would have sold that out by themselves that night.
They didn't.
That was just a fact. That was just a fact. At that time, they would have done it by themselves. But you know what I said?
And they had the street cred, whether you like it or not.
And
because
they
didn't. They a lot of people, they were in the trenches doing the fucking shit for years.
You know how it goes. A lot of people talk that shit. You know, we're gonna hook you up, yo. We gotta go on tour. You know, bands that have the means to take out a new band, and it's all talk. Yo, these guys did it. You know, they always looked out. Whenever there was a shot for somebody for them to bring in, they were like, "Yo, come on." You know,
and that reminds me, Madball needs to take out TheTake too.
Well, we're waiting. Yo, the minute they open those doors, you know what's up. We're waiting for that shit. Hell yeah. That's what I was gonna say. We're getting that.
I gotta throw that in there.
No, listen. Like if the world hasn't heard, we are those motherfuckers who will play once the motherfuckers say we can play. We in there. But it's getting crazy out there.
It's still weird,
It's getting crazy as far as where people are gonna be able to play and not play, or what's what. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You guys some of you guys at least are anti-vaxxers, right?
I won't get into it.
Yeah.
But I just
but I get it. Like it's crazy to force people to do things and all that,
Exactly. No, I just know it's a crazy world, and I worry about my family first. Instead of trying my thing is this. I ain't gonna try to change the world from the outside in. I start from the inside out. So I start with my family, my close people, and work our way out. It's easier to keep in the control, a little bit more realistic. People are trying to shoot big, and I'm like, dude, when you yell that far, nobody hears you.
Yeah.
Up close, the people that matter. Who's close to you? The people that matter are gonna hear you. Okay, let's start with them, and then.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But whatever. I'm just trying to make music like you. I'm trying to fucking play a show.
But I feel bad for like you guys and sick of it all who make a living off this thing.
It fucked us.
It's all fucked up.
I don't harp on it, but because if Freddie doesn't need none of the guys in the band, we're not those. We ain't built like that. But this shit fucked us because exactly like
totally fucked.
You in a band and you know how it works, and we do this for a living, and there's no fucking royalty checks that we get. There's no fucking 401k, no R2D2s, no whatever it is, all this shit people get that normal people get. We don't get none of that. We got fucked hard. But
fucked hard.
Like in The Godfather, this is the life we chose. You know what I mean? And it sucks, but you know, we're real motherfuckers in that way. Take it for whatever. We're dumb or whatever. We know what we did. And we invested our lives in it, but it's what it is. You know what I mean? Now what we got to do is use what we got from this and try to keep going, right? Like everybody else. You know, that's why, you know, I'm just, you know, we're still making music and trying to play what we could play, but Smokin Word podcast is heavy, you know, keeping the world connected.
We got fucked too on a small, way smaller level, but we were really starting to get the ball rolling and really get some momentum going, and then boom, it's over. I feel like, oh fuck.
Because I remember, I'm like, I see you guys put out the thing, and they're like, nah, we're not gonna really play. And then I'm like, oh, they got flown out to do a show, and they got flown out. I go, oh, once they take on to fly out, they're gonna make it good, because that meant they made it good enough for you to fly out for that. And I go, oh, that's gonna come, because this is the day and age of, yo, come out for the weekend, do 2 festivals. And I go, wow, you're the perfect band for that, you know, or do something like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, forget it. And then the next thing I know, Willie, I'm like, oh, Willie's back on tour.
Yeah.
You know?
I got Willie back on tour.
Yeah, I know. Who would think? Shout out to Willie. I talked to him not too long ago.
Yeah.
And fucking, but yeah, Spot Monster go. And what was the name of the other band you had with Willie?
Among Thieves.
Yes, that's what I remember, because I remember going to see some of the early shows at CB's, I want to say it was.
We try to do like a kind of Life Agony style, like sort of modern rock type band or whatever.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was. Who else was in the band? Wasn't Alan wasn't? Yeah, he
Alan
was
from
in the
Life
band.
Agony was in the band. Yeah. You know, we tried to do it and it just didn't really work.
Yeah. And how did the whole Biohazard shit come up? Obviously you were friends, but how did that come up? They asked you, they were looking to try out, you asked them. How did that
what happened was that Will decided to leave the band Among Thieves and like do the family thing. So we needed a drummer. And Alan said, hey, let's ask Danny from Biohazard. Danny said yes. So Danny was Among Thieves. And then he's like, hey, we need a guitar player for this tour because our guitar player is sick and can't do it or whatever. So he said, you want to do it?
Which guy was that at the time?
His name was Carmine.
Oh, Carmine. All right. No.
He was on like the record right before I joined the band.
All right.
And he actually played in a band with Evan before Biohazard.
Oh, God. Crazy.
Yeah. He's an old Brooklyn guy.
Yeah.
But I think part of it too is he hated Evan. Didn't want to be on tour with Evan, but whatever. Yeah. So I did it. And then while we were on tour, a few days in, they asked me to join the band. Or Evan did, actually.
Yeah. So
that's how I got into Biohazard. You know?
And you were just playing guitar at the time.
Guitar, yeah. Lead guitar.
And backups, obviously, yeah. And then the Evan leaves or whatever happens, the Evan thing, how does it happen that you come into play? Because I just kind of know it happens. Like I just felt like, oh, I got used to you doing it. I don't remember when the transition. I don't remember when the full operation happened, when the full snips happened, and you transformed. No, but I don't remember like when you took the full duty on it. Just I felt like we were on tour, and that's how it was because we did some touring together, a couple different things like that.
It was great too. I loved it.
Yeah,
it's always amazing when you get to be on tour with one of your favorite bands and watch them every day. You know, but I got to be on tour with in a band with one of my favorite bands and watch my favorite one of my favorite
there
bands.
you go.
So that's great. But the band broke up. Like Evan wanted to do his porno thing and whatever. The band broke up for a few years. When I first got in the band too, he kept saying shit about like we should just break up, like a Life of Agony for 5 years and get back together. You know, like the vibe was bad. Mm-hmm. Like things were definitely, on the way down. We did a record and it was like the band broke up during the record. It was really bad. It sucked. Honestly, it wasn't fun really.
Yeah.
And the band broke up for like 5 years, I think. And then they got back together as like a reunion thing with the original members, with Bobby, which nobody thought would happen. But they did that for a couple of years, I guess. And I actually went on tour with them and like guitar tech for Bobby.
Oh, crazy.
And then, shit went down with Evan and quit the band. It's some weird stuff that I don't really want to talk about because that's just his deal. But so like actually before he quit the band, I got a phone call from Danny and he's like, we're supposed to do this metal fest in New England Metal Fest in like 2 weeks. Evan won't tell us if he'll show up or not. Can you fill in? I'm like, no. I'm like, it's 2 weeks away.
No.
No.
Let's be honest.
I'm like, dude, I gotta work, I got all this work lined up and I know the guitar parts totally different than the bass parts.
Yeah.
And I don't know the lyrics and shit. I've never rehearsed this. I can't just do that, I'm not that talented, Maybe I have some little talent, but not that much. And but that he ended up doing the show, but at that point I started thinking, well, maybe I should start learning this stuff, because it might happen again. And sure enough, I get another phone call. Evan we got to have this show in China, I think it was. Oh no, it was in London. We had these shows in London. Evan won't tell us if he's going to show up. So, then I started practicing and then he quit. He quit the band like while they were like mastering the record. Mm-hmm. Right. So then I came in and they were, for a second, they were talking about re-recording stuff and the label didn't want to do that. And honestly, I was happy because I didn't really like that record, but
yeah.
But anyways, I go play a couple shows and it was weird. And they wouldn't like say for a while that I'm the guy. It was a weird thing and they didn't know what they wanted to do. But then eventually, hey, all right, you're the guy.
You're it.
Yeah. And then we did I always mix it up, resistance or persistence.
It was resistance back in the day that it became persistent.
Right. The first one we headlined it when I was in Biohazard. It was called Persistence, I think. I don't know, whatever it was. But we did that with Suicidal. That was the first like tour we did, and it was really awkward. People were looking at us like we don't know what to make of this, And then we did a tour in Australia, big tour, and all that, and then we started doing a lot of stuff, and things really started to change. Like people really started getting into it,
Yep.
And I had, at the end of it, every day, people were telling me the band was better now without Evan. They were really into it because they thought I brought like the hardcore vibe back to the band and stuff. So it was really going good, like we were starting to headline festivals again. And more people were showing up.
And I'll say that from my part, watching in, because I saw when they started coming back, even from, talking with Danny and you guys, and like talking with Billy, like just, I could even tell how the mentality was coming back, like, oh, we're rebuilding, we're going full blast, but like a new band, blah, blah, blah. And we would talk shop about certain things. And I got to say, it's hard to do with a singer, no matter who the singer is.
It's really hard. And it's only worked a couple times in history.
And I got to say, you definitely, and it was exactly how you said it. I remember you had, with the shows you had, it was like, it felt good. It was like everybody, because it was already the bouncing of vocals. So it kind of helped that it was already a band that had that. So it wasn't just like everything was just on you. It was like, okay, the new flavor, but still you had a similar flavor, but your own. And then it was like, all right. And he could play, he could sing. All right. And then you got the two things. And I was like, and then I saw also, I was like, you guys are playing more. The shows were getting better. And I started even seeing, I was like, they're getting on festivals again. And I said, if you get on the certain festivals, from doing them a certain amount of years, you start getting back on them. It's a good sign of, okay, you get back in the algorithm of these people. you
Right,
know,
right.
of like the whole set. And I remember you guys were doing good, which
Yeah.
I was surprised also when whatever happened that you guys decided to disband, whatever that be. But I was like, oh, to me, it was going good as far as at least
It
from my
was
outside that you know, it seemed like you said, you were gaining good momentum with the band.
totally, yeah. It was
You
going
know?
really well, and then it fell apart.
Yeah, shit happens.
Shit
You know what I
happened, yeah.
mean? You know, shit happens. That shit goes, it passes.
Yeah.
Take. I know you guys, you know, I know originally you would talk with Willie, you know, about starting projects, because I would always hear about, you know, guys are, you know, hey, we're going to jam with this guy and that guy. And I know the Take kind of started on something like that, you know, on
Yeah.
just talking about jamming, you know, like
Totally,
bands
yeah.
started back in the days. You
Yeah.
talk about it with your friends, then you got to make it because you talk
Yeah.
about it so much. You
Yeah,
know?
well, at the time, Will and Craig from Sick of It All, who, if anybody listening doesn't know, they were in Agnostic Front together, you know, in like the late 80s or early 90s, whatever. And they were talking to each other like, we should do a band. Let's do a hardcore power trio. And who do we get to play guitar? And Will goes, Scott Roberts. Right? So he called me up and told me this, and he's like, you want to do it? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to do it. And I just had quit Biohazard like a few weeks before, you know. And I was thinking, at the time too, I was talking about doing songs that Danny and I had wrote for Biohazard, just like getting a couple other guys, just doing those songs and start, you know, calling it something else or whatever. But then when he called me that, would Will call me about that, I got fucking excited about like to play with Will again. I love Will to death, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And Craig is like one of my favorite bass players, you know. I was like, fuck yeah. And I started like getting excited and getting ideas. Like I hadn't been excited in a while, you know. Because honestly, with Biohazard, like me and Danny were writing things, but the whole time I'm thinking, you know, I don't write like Biohazard. You know, I didn't write stuff in that era.
Yeah, I know.
That it needs to sound like, you know, and everything like
I
that.
know you mean. People don't understand. Like, yeah, you know, you gotta. It's almost like you gotta become the soul for another body when you try to write in somebody's vibe. You know, it's hard to explain, but I know what it is because I had to do that for Mad Boy early. You know, I had to try to be like, what the fuck do I? How do I write like them? I don't, because I didn't write nothing like them. I was on some metal shit.
Yeah, Corona groove metal.
Yeah, you know, in that Corona groove metal, these motherfuckers are playing fucking Smell the Bacon, which I love, but it was like,
I love Smell the Bacon.
I'm my favorite now, but you know what I mean? But now I get it. You know, it's hard to like.
Yeah. You know, I'm like, I can't do that. I just got to do whatever. And I'm not sure that people are going to accept it or whatever, but I still think it's good. But here's an opportunity to play with two of my friends. They're amazing musicians and just do something, whatever. And, you know, I started getting excited, like writing these old school, like AF fast 80s shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then I talked to Craig and I says, well, what style of music do you want to do? And he goes, whatever we feel. And I was like, wow, why did I never think of that?
Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I know it's right.
phone again.
I know you mean it's right in front of your face sometimes.
Right in front of your face.
Yeah, it's always like that.
I was like, why was I always thinking I had to do this or do that? I should have just fucking did what I feel. And then that's when like shit changed and started becoming like Oi and mixed in, all mixed together. It's just, I was like, fuck it.
And I like that you said Oi and not punk, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, but Oi punk.
No, Oi. Yeah, no,
rock,
Oi.
Just regular old rock.
Oh, no, I like I'll take Oi or rock and roll also. I'll take rock and roll. Rock and roll is my what do you call it? I'll take that one. Even with the Oi. But no fucking all right, so before obviously write what you want. So the first thing now you say, okay, yeah, you're right. Now, did you say, wow, I had these couple of songs that were more on an oi tip, or you were like, you know what,
Nah,
I kind of have this vibe of more this melodic shit I want to do? Or how did that come up? Because
it didn't. I
it's
didn't think of
perfect.
nothing. I didn't think of anything.
Yeah.
I had like some stuff that was fast, hardcore shit that a little bit of it made it onto the record, I think. But at that point, I was just like, who cares, right? I'm not trying to do this to try to be Metallica or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it for the love of doing it. It doesn't matter if people don't like it, as long as I like it. And I'm just gonna do this. And things just started coming, and I'd send it to those two guys, and they say they like it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm rolling with it, I keep dropping shit.
No, because the songs, I love the songs because I love Oi. And it seemed to hear you say that it bugs me out because they're well thought out, they're well put together. And to me,
I
it
didn't
would
think
feel
of
like,
shit.
that's what I'm saying. To me, it felt like, oh, he must have had a couple of these in the bag, or like kind of like,
No.
I want to do something in this vein. So I
I
got,
think nah. I would say Elitist is probably the first Oi song I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Anybody don't know, it's like the first video we did.
Single, your first single. They got the video for it. So yeah,
that just kind of came right after. I keep dropping that shit.
Yeah.
Came kind of right after that whole idea came to just whatever, just do whatever. Don't worry about it.
Now you start jamming on these songs, and I know how it is. When you jump in, musicians, like some musicians don't like answering this because they take it in a way where they don't want to, like, when I'm going to write a riff, like Doc Martin Stomp, I said, okay, we're going to write an Oi song. So, I would say, like, it's going to be a little bit the business. It's going to, not that it might sound like it, but I'm going to vibe off the business. I'm going to vibe off fucking Last Resort vibe. When you were doing this, I know you already love that type of music, but like, because it could have easily gone more. You could have gone on some more punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could have gone all over
towards that. That's what I'm saying. And you lean towards where you always more towards this, even with the punk and the Oi, like towards a lot of more Oi stuff, even early on, or just.
I just like all of it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just came out. I didn't think of shit. It would come out and then it'd be there, and I go, oh, what do you think of this? And Will would say, oh, it's great. And then lyrics would come, and then it's done, and that's it. There's really no thought in the shit, It was like the easiest record I ever made, honestly.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I used to like
overthink,
really overthink things,
And it's perfect record for the right time because it's part of the DNA of the New York hardcore scene that disappeared. There was always a New York Oi band. There was always a New York punk band. There was always a New York straight edge band. There was always a New York Christian band. There was always that, but there was always the punk, the Oi in that mix. You know what I mean? And that left the DNA for a long time.
For sure, yeah.
That's why I was glad when that happened. I was like, man, this is refreshing. And it's good to have that type of band, and it's good. And it's like, and I loved Oi, and I'd rather hear more the Oi than the punk. Shout out to you punk rockers out there, but I was like, yo, and what I like about it, even with your shit, because I keep saying Oi, yeah, but it definitely, I like that it's heavy rock and roll where, you know what I mean? The songwriting is bigger rock in some songs, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's cool.
Hey,
hang on 1 second. I figured he'd just go,
Yeah, no, but fuck it.
Just go.
No, but definitely. And like Willie, which ones he would send me a track here and there, always like, yo, check this out. And Willie knows my love of fucking of just music and especially this style. So he would send me shit. And I was always like, yo, you gotta, I was glad that you guys were doing music because it was refreshing for something new. But then I know this COVID shit kind of fucking rained on the parade a little bit with the last record you were doing or something, or did, or dropped. For
sure. But I got to go back to what you're saying about missing from the scene kind of thing, from New York scene. Because like there was definitely bands like, whether they're sketchy or not, YDL,
Yeah.
that was totally ingrained in the hardcore scene.
Shout out
But
to Nick, who actually is going to be on the podcast tomorrow.
awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Boom. So you heard, look,
Boom,
it's
yeah,
funny you
boom.
say that. I was gonna say we got some
But
skin shit heavy, but yeah, shout out to
yeah,
Nick. But yeah,
I
well,
mean,
shout out to
and that's another thing that was really missing to me was the skinhead thing.
yes,
Like the skinhead scene was the New York hardcore scene
big time
in the early days,
for sure.
like that was gone, and whatever, oi, punk rock, more being more punk or whatever, and not just tough guy metal thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm really proud of the record, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's the best thing I've ever done, me personally.
Yeah.
But we do have like a new EP that's pretty good too.
Yeah. and that exactly. And the fucking the EP, what's the label? Where can people still get it or find it or what's what? You gotta let people fucking they gotta you guys gotta everybody listening. This COVID shit could kill a lot of new bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you motherfuckers I'm subscribed, I'm hear it, pass it around, repost. This is why it's good that you let people know, because this is how bands like us keep this shit alive. Because no magazines are writing about Madball and TheTake. You know what I mean? Unless we do it ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And we're not here to try to be some big fancy bullshit. We're just doing.
We want to be accessible to all our people that want to hear us. Yeah. So that's why we do this. I know people that that listen to fucking whatever else, they don't care about what what's going on in our world. Some might might not. I do this to try to reach our world, and sure, everybody's included. You know the deal,
right?
Like we said, our world is small enough, and that's what I loved about it. We had in the hardcore scene all those factions of punk, metal, oi, how it should be. That's why it was the best scene in the world, because we had it all.
Agreed for sure. But going back to the EP, it's not out yet. We got Brooklyn Larry, you know who that is.
Of course,
other people
Brooklyn
won't know.
Larry, yeah.
He's like shopping us, and I talked to him today. I think we got somebody interested, but I finished this shit a little while ago. It took forever because of this COVID thing. I had no drive to do shit, but it still came out really good. I think it's gonna be a great EP, and I guess it's gonna be out next year, and hopefully we can get back to playing shows a lot, and
do you got anything
making shit happen?
You got anything booked?
We got one solid show right now, which is like the Hooligan Holiday.
Right. And, I'll see you there.
Right.
God hoping.
And I think we're gonna do New Year's Eve with Murphy's Law. I hope so.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
That's all we have right now.
Yeah.
And we got like next year's a whole big maybe of like the Europe stuff, you know what I mean? I'm sure you have the same shit going on, right? Like stuff that we were supposed to do 2 years ago,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to catch up, but the plan is to catch up. But the plan is for you guys is to continue where you left off, correct?
Right. Yeah.
All right, good. Because you know what? There's some bands. There's a lot of bands. There's some newer bands that this shit broke them. You know what I mean? Like they just.
Well, I totally understand that too. But the one thing about us, good or bad, is that we're not doing it to make a living off of it. We're doing it because we love to do it. So we make a living doing other stuff. I mean, I barely made a living because of COVID, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not like this is what we're doing to make a living. So it's just about, doing it for the love of it. So, it's not gonna be that kind of thing to break us because
you're not living, you're not, it's not a life or death, of course. I know what you mean.
Right.
You're doing it. That's dope. That's dope because to me, not just because I love the band, I mean, not just because I love Willie, but you guys are it's right now a good thing for the scene, I think, to have a band like you, like we just explained. And I think it's dope because it's fresh air. and it shows, our world is keep going, because we got to keep going. We can't let this shit can't kill us. We can't let it kill you. It's starting to kill some people, and I don't just mean physically. I mean just within our world. This shit is separating people and killing people. Where I'm like, yo, there's friendships being broken up. I hear you, this whole political shit, whatever. But we already come from a scene of bottom feeders that, people that we had nowhere to go, and we all ended up in this place. You know what I mean?
The misfits.
Yeah, exactly. And then we finally cleaned the place up and made it nice for us to live. And then now motherfuckers want to take shits on the carpet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I mean? And then but it's like, it's refreshing. We still got to show, there's some wild shit going on, but the next thing is coming. I like seeing the new bands, not just the older bands, but new bands, new music, older bands doing new music, moving forward, new projects. We can't fold.
Got to keep it moving. I know.
Exactly.
Got to keep it moving, and I got to get my ass more motivated. But
it's good. You guys are ready to rock, and in the way that you had something, COVID held it, but you got something on deck ready. And I heard a piece of it from Willie. I don't know what exactly it is on the record or whatever, but the shit was dope.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, for sure. But listen, I'm glad fucking I was able to get you on. I had Willie on a while, but I wanted to get you too, because it was also like, I was like,
I'm honored that you would have.
Yeah, no, hell yeah. I was like, fucking trying to fight. And then it was good that we made it work, because I know you were working, and then life
playing
crazy,
shows and stuff,
playing shows and everything. But I'm glad, and hopefully the next time I see you'll be in person on tour somewhere. The minute they'll have us, we're gonna do this shit. That.
Let's do it.
So, and next time, you gotta come down. If you see Willie, we gotta get up. I'll get up, and we'll get up with Willie. We'll go invade Willie's house.
All right.
Listen, I'm glad to have you on. Everybody go check out TheTake. Go check out him. Follow him on Instagram. Go follow TheTake. You guys got merch, right, for sale? I saw, right?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
coldcuts.com or coldcuts. I don't know if it's .com/TheTake or coldcuts TheTake.
Yeah.
/TheTake.com, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Go cop that merch. And these people out here, the Smokin Word family supports. Let me tell you, you just gotta let them know. Not all of them got their GEDs, so you gotta guide them sometimes, But they'll go once you show them. But listen, shout out to TheTake, shout out to you. One love. I'm glad I had you on. Next time, I want to have the whole band. We'll do the whole band, and we'll play some songs and shit when the shit drops. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Sounds
good.
Hell yeah.
Anytime, my brother.
You know what's up? I'll let you know when it drops, and we'll talk soon, Scott. And I'm out.
All right, peace.
Yo, peace.
Love you, bro.
Talk, bro.